Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic: what is the purpose of an accounting department within an organization? Well, the accounting department provides services, financial support to an organization it belongs to. The department records accounts payable and receivable, inventory, payroll, and fixed assets, and other financial elements. The department's accounts review the records to determine the company's financial position and any changes needed or required to run an efficient company or operation. Now, after giving you the definition, within accounting, there's also journal entries. Accounting is also tracking transactions that are being made. So you have certain accounts. Besides accounts payable and receivables, which one's an asset and one's a liability, you're going to have any other entries that are fixed, like PPE, plant, property, and equipment, computers. You're going to have machinery. All this accounting that I'm talking to you about is what gives you, as a company or employer, a track or position of how much money and revenue you're making, or are you losing because of high expenses. So that being said, we'll talk about the accounts payable and receivable part of the accounting department. Now, the accounts payable section of an accounting department records goods and services that it receives and the payments it owes, such an inventory from a supplier or other expenses. Now, the department records each accounts payable as a liability and accounts receivable as an asset. Assets such as revenue and customers' obligations pay for goods and services. That being said, you must have a payroll department, because before you can even get to accounts payable and receivables, somebody must be in that department processing the accounts payables and receivables. And what happens? You go to work. Workers don't work for free. So what happens? Well, a lot of transactions when it comes to labor and wages come from the payroll department. Now, the payroll function of the accounting department ensures that the organization pays its employees accurately, and that includes bonuses, benefits, and commissions. Now, the department monitors employees' time off, vacation, and sick days. It also pays the government taxes, as well as union dues and other withholdings from an employee's paycheck. The department reimburses employees for expenses and makes payments to vendors. That being a major function, we'll go to the next function, which is inventory. And why is inventory important? Well, when you're in business such as manufacturing or a restaurant, you have goods and services. Too much inventory and no customers means you're losing a lot of money, because you have to pay for inventory. Now, if you're selling a lot of inventory and you're not getting any customers, or you have you have too little inventory and a lot of customers, that's a shortage. That's not going to help either. So you have to know how to balance how much inventory you need on hand versus the business volume. So when it comes to any type of inventory, what is inventory? Well, again, it's the company's goods owned for the purpose of sale. Inventory is usually sold in a year. An accounting department watches the cost of inventory over a specific period against its revenues to ensure the cost of raw materials, labor, overhead do not negatively affect the cash flow of your company. Now, the accounting department tries to balance between high levels that satisfy customers but are costly to the company, and low levels that satisfy the company's expenses but may dissatisfy customers. Now, if you are going into the manufacturing sector, and particularly a lot of accounting courses in school, particularly when you get into cost or managerial accounting, you start dealing with variance, labor, you deal with more of the variable cost and the fixed cost. Well, the function called fixed assets is a function that a company utilizes because companies may need machinery, equipment, vehicles, and other fixed assets, because they're going to take these items and use them over several years, particularly if you're making widgets or cars, anything that is utilizing mass production. Now, the accounting department is responsible for recording fixed assets on a balance sheet with depreciation. Fixed assets can be intangible, such as goodwill or trademark, or tangible, such as machinery. As the company needs to upgrade to remain competitive, its financial statements will determine what the business can afford. Now, overall, when you have accounting and it's done properly, it's a watchdog of all the transactions that are being made within your business. Now, this is not an accounting course, but you have the term assets and liabilities. So when you're tracking your transactions, you're going to have a balance sheet, because in accounting you want everything to balance out. Debits equals credits, assets and liabilities. In other words, if I sell something and I have a T account, well, I'm going to debit cash and I'm going to credit accounts receivable, because I'm receiving something and that's going to help my revenue. Now, if I'm going to pay for something, that's when I'm going to credit cash and debit accounts payable. Now, you see how that works. The credits and debits are going to balance each other out, because what you do with one hand, you should do with the other. And basically, when you understand the accounting principles of entering journals in your log, and you can see your operating budget, you can see your income statement and your balance sheet. And these are the three areas that must be accurate when you look at the overall scheme of how your company is doing. Let me go over this again. You need a balance sheet, you need an income statement, and you need an operating budget. Without those three areas of accounting, your company may be out of business. If you're not an accountant, you still should know at least the principles of accounting when it comes to entering journal entries. If you get more into complex accounting, let's say if you're a bank where you're going to deal with more stocks, bonds, valuation, capital budget, that's more on the finance side. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is understanding how the functions of accounting work within an accounting department, and why an accounting department is very important within an organization. In fact, it's just as important, or not more important, than human resources. Because when you deal with accounting, like last night we did human resources, we dealt a lot with the workplace policies, development, and training. Tonight I'm dealing with money. And two areas that can make or break a company are labor and materials. Because if you don't know how to purchase materials, and that comes from a good procurement or a good purchaser, because if you understand LIFO, which is last in, first out, or FIFO, first in, first out, you will have an idea of what goods you need to sell and what goods you need to order. And that takes a good person who is well versed on the managerial accounting, and particularly when you go into the managerial or cost accounting. But at the end of the day, understanding accounting, keeping up with your books can keep you out of trouble with the government, because you're going to have auditors who are going to audit your books to make sure you're not cooking the books. Also, you will get an idea of how each and every function within the accounting department works. It's like a machine. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, because these are actions that take place every day. Because if I'm an engineer and I need a new printer, well, I'm going to go to the accounting department to see if I can afford it. And if you understand the three items, the budget, which is for operations, the income statement, and the balance sheet. And if they're all correct, you don't have to worry about the audits, and it'll give you a metric on how your company is working. But overall, I wanted to make this video so I can give everyone who's in business an overview of how the accounting department works inside of a business. And that's it for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for today, Friday, January 13th, 2017. You can tune into the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube, so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional, mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in the social, controversial, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama and unnecessary bickering. This channel is for business, education, and careers. And what I'm doing, I am providing the tools for success in an educational institution, as well as choosing a good career and making good life decisions. Because once I apply the theory, I'm going to teach it to you, and you can apply it to the real world and help somebody else. Because you have to treat your life as a business as well. So I keep everything realistic but positive. Remember, knowledge is power. If you have a business or a topic that you would like for me to discuss on Blog Talk Radio or YouTube, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. If you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating or pettifogging or filibustering. If you wish to opine, that's this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Please remember to be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.